Hey everyone, Derek with Under Par Golf Studio here again with another club review. Today we're going to take a look at the new Hot Metal Pro, Hot Metal, and Hot Metal HL from Mizuno. We'll take a closer look at them, talk about some of the tech, go over and hit all three of them, and then kind of look at the data from all three. But to just kind of summarize what's changed in these new JPX923 Hot Metals is a new material used to make the club altogether. The last two JPX lines have had a chromoly steel. They've now infused nickel into the chromoly, which has made it a 35% stronger material. This is a metal that's used in landing gears for aircraft, things like that. So it's a very strong material. And because of that, they were able to make the faces 8% thinner, which gave a 16% larger maximum COR area, which ironically led the USGA to send Mizuno a letter stating that these irons are on the border of too hot. So they had to tune them back a little bit, and that's the first time Mizuno's ever seen a letter like that. So that's just a funny story about these. But so again, stronger, thinner face, 16% larger max COR area. So gonna give you more ball speed, better launch, the whole 9 yards. So we're going to quickly talk about each one. The Hot Metal Pro, designed for the better player. You know, I haven't seen the forged yet of the new JPX line. It'll come out in the spring, but from all the pictures and other reviewers who have seen it and have compared it, same top line almost, looks very similar to the forged. So that's going to be something geared towards the better player. We'll take a look at it from top down, everything like that here in a little bit. The new Hot Metal is geared to be very similar, the same lofts, just a little thicker top line and sole, a little more offset. Kind of going to be the bread and butter of the line for most of you players who generate a decent amount of club head speed but still want all that forgiveness. And then the new HL was designed to be a super game improvement iron that actually performs up to the caliber that we need it to. So a lot of times the super game improvement irons came out with no spin, launched too low. So this is actually same face design of the other two heads, but weaker lofts throughout the set. And we'll talk about that more a little bit later on as well, but designed to be for you slower club head swing speeds like 75 and below. Mizuno in their research found this would be a very good head to at least try out. So new head to the line this year. It's not just a chunky head. It's got all the specs and performance, and it was designed for a purpose. So let's take a look at them all a little closer, hit them, and take a look at the numbers. All right, so first we're gonna look at and see all three of the lines from top down. So as you can kind of guess probably from looking at all three here, Hot Metal Pro, Hot Metal HL. You can kind of see the extra lines here and here compared to the Hot Metal Pro. You can kind of tell too the extra loft and the extra offset on the Hot Metal and the HL. Now if I flip them around, you're going to start to see Hot Metal Pro, Hot Metal, very similar soles, just a little thicker in the Hot Metal. So again, between these two, there's not much difference there. When you add the HL, you start to see a little thicker sole and a little more top line, but you can really see how you could blend these sets together very easily. And remember, there's a lot of customization because Mizuno did add bounce to these irons to allow for better bounce numbers when you do have to bend them a little stronger, depending on the type of player you are. But you also have that HL for that higher launch. So there's a good comparison of all three irons. They're very similar in blade length. Yeah, perfect looking clubs in my opinion. So let's take a look at them and hit them and then compare the data. so the first iron head of the three we're going to look at today of the hot metal heads coming out this fall. We're going to do the Hot Metal Pro first. KBS Tour C-taper shaft, same shaft I play. In my current irons, we're going to put it in all three heads to keep the comparison completely about the heads and see how much difference the head design makes, as well as the lofts, especially in the HL head, in performance. That way we can really determine who each club might be best for, or how we could even blend these together if that's something you're thinking about in a combo set of some kind. Okay, so that felt like a very solid strike. Feels really good. I really can't tell much of a difference compared to Mizuno's forged heads and feel there, which is always something I've admired about the JPX line, is how good of a feel they give you, despite being a non-forged club. That gives you all this performance. You see the efficiency there of 143. That's so good for a 7 iron here. Put a couple more good swings on it here. Another one right over the other one, maybe a little longer. Again, it feels so solid. Really a pretty good look, not too thick of a top line. Like we talked about, I haven't seen it in person, but from pictures as well as from other reviewers who have hit the forged, a very similar look overall. Okay, so there's three pretty good swings with the Hot Metal Pro. Now we'll put on the Hot Metal head, and then we'll hit that 3 times, go to the HL, hit that 3 times, and kind of compare all the data. But so far, this is going to be a really good head for anyone who may be a little better player, but wants to have all that forgiveness of a more game improvement head design. So let's put the Hot Metal on and see how that goes. Okay, so now we're going to look at the standard Hot Metal head in the JPX923 line. This is going to be kind of the bread and butter line, probably what you're going to see most people that get fitted to, that have a decent amount of club head speed but still want all that forgiveness. Really interested to see, because looking down at it here, does not look a lot different top line wise. You can see a little bit more of the sole, because it is a little thicker. Going to give you a little bit more launch on those miss hits, but overall, top line wise, it's a very similar look to the Hot Metal Pro, so I'm going to be interested to see if there is much of a performance difference in this lineup here, because it's, again, the same materials, same face, everything to the Hot Metal Pro. Just a little different look that makes it just a little bigger. Still about the same feel, so feels pretty much identical to the Pro, so that's a big plus. And again, a big testament to why these JPXs are such a good line for Mizuno. Hold that one just a little bit. So one more good one here. I do feel like I'm swinging very similar, so just a tad more offset on these, producing maybe just a little bit more of a left shot for me. But overall, very similar feel. Seems like very similar results. We'll put the HL head on, compare, hit those, and then take a look at all the numbers at the end here. Okay, so now we're going to look at the Hot Metal HL head. Again, this is a head. It's meant to be a complement to this line of an actual super game improvement iron that is actually going to help improve launch and spin, because that's something that's been missing out of a lot of Super Game Improvement irons. And Mizuno realized fitters have been asking for this forever. So 2.5 degrees weaker loft than the other two 7 irons. Gets even greater in the longer irons. So the 5 iron is 3 degrees weaker lofted. So you're gonna see more loft, more height, more spin. Hopefully it gives you those mid 70 and lower club head speeds, that launch and spin you need to be able to hit your long irons again, and give you a more forgiving club that still performs. So let's see if we see that extra height, that extra spin when I'm hitting them here. So it does look just a touch bigger when I look down at it, but really not a whole lot different than the hot metal, which was Mizuno's goal here. We're really trying to have a good complement where even if you needed to, you could blend all 3 of these irons together. And I think they've done a pretty good job of that. So let's hit a few here and see what kind of results we get. Okay, so that still felt very solid. Still got all of the ball speed. I swung a little harder, so efficiency did drop down a little bit. We see steeper descent angle and more spin than I believe we saw with either of the other two. We'll hit a couple more and then look at the comparison of all 3 at the end here. Okay, that one I definitely thinned. So to see this kind of height that almost rivals the other two, I really like to see that. That's a great sign of a very good forgiving head. More spin, still great descent angle. I know I thinned that one. So let's hit one more. Okay, another really solid strike. But yeah, you can just tell it's peaking higher. Yeah, 44 yards in the air. Descending steeper, more spin. This is a great example of what this head is designed for. So let's get this report and take a look at it and really compare all 3, and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so now we got the numbers here from the 3 shots we hit with each head. So we see Hot Metal Pro, Hot Metal, very similar, great efficiency, some of the best efficiency numbers I've seen out of any 7 iron to date. Right up there with the Stealth and the Rogue ST line. Almost identical ball speeds. I swung the Hot Metal a little faster, but what I really notice is very good spin consistency out of the Hot Metal Pro. That should be expected out of the Pro head. It's going to be designed to, as long as the consistency and strike is there, give you the most consistent results. It's going to be meant to perform. It's going to be that club for the better, slightly better player that is still going to be really forgiving for you and really boost your ball speeds. You see it wasn't short by any means compared to the Hot Metal, which gave me slightly higher launch. It is a slightly bigger head design. Came as slightly lower backspin as a result and a little more distance, so definitely a slightly more game improvement head, which we expect. Then we see we don't lose a ton of ball speed with that Hot Metal HL despite the higher lofts. Some of that I did swing it the fastest, and we do see a slight decrease in efficiency, but we definitely see that pink line, the HL, the highest launching, easiest to hit straight because of that, and the most spin. You know, we saw the Hot Metal Pro and Hot Metal descending out of the air at about 45 degrees. The HL we were seeing closer to 50 degrees. We were seeing high 30s in the peak height category for yards into the air with these two. HL, for me, I was getting it close to 45 yards in the air. So anyone who needs help getting that ball in the air and getting it to land, that HL is a great addition to the line. It's still going to boost ball speed, but going to give you a ton more forgiveness and be that much better club, especially for that player in the mid to lower 70s, high 60s club head speeds. That Hot Metal Pro, for anyone else, should be in everyone's options for clubs. If you're looking at something in this game improvement to super game improvement category, even some of you looking at a slightly better iron, like maybe the JPX923 Forge when it comes out in the spring, should still consider the Hot Metal Pro and the Hot Metal. They were a great feeling club that gave me great results. So I really recommend all of them. Can't say enough good things about them. The 921s were already one of my favorite irons to fit people into just because of the feel and the consistency, but the 923 is just drastically improved on that. So would really recommend anyone go to your local fitter and really try these out. These should be, like I said, something you should be trying if you're considering new clubs. So go to your fitter, try them out, and see what you think of them. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Please subscribe, as I will be doing more club reviews as more come out this fall and into the next spring. So be on the lookout for those. And then we are also going to start uploading videos talking about some basics to the golf swing, short game, everything like that. So be on the lookout for those as well. Again, thank you for tuning in, and I really recommend trying out these 923s.